Oh, cock. I forgot to do it with my chin strap. I got it done up with the gloves on! Yay! Now let's do this vlog! Oh, hello! Dang, girl! You fine! This video is brought to you by RynoMoto. I think that's RynoMoto. Yeah, he suggested that I talk about my first bike or starter bike and why I got it. My first bike actually is Nisa. She's a 2007 Kawasaki ZX. No, she's not a ZX6. She's a 2007 Kawasaki ER6N, or the Naked Ninja 650R, okay? So she's a 650 parallel twin. I've rode coming on 8,000 miles on her. So we've had some time together, I will be honest. It's actually coming up on near a year, which is pretty cool. Now, a bit of backstory to why I got Nisa. Over here in the UK, you need to, there's a lot of tests and all you have to do to get to ride. You got a theory test, then you've got an off-road practical test, as in you ride in a car park essentially, doing slow maneuvers. It's otherwise known as a mod 1, I believe. And then after that, providing you pass each one, you then do a mod 2 or a road test. So you go out riding, and then there's an examiner that rides or else drives behind you, and he directs you where he wants you to go, and you just ride, and then he'll basically tell you afterwards if you're safe to ride or not. That's basically it. And depending on that guy, or girl, not being sexist, depending on that, you might, depending on what he says, you get the ride or you don't get the ride. You either A, get the license, or B, don't get the license. Throughout that process, unless you're, bossy, you have someone teach you how to do all the stuff that's needed. The typical thing here in the UK is to go to someone and they show you how to ride. They teach you everything. They show you all the maneuvers that you need to do, and you practice with them on their bikes. Now, the company I did it through was A+ Academy, I think. Their bikes that they used were, they have 3 Kawasaki ER6s, 1 fared model and 2 naked. As of recording this, they may have changed that. I don't know. Haven't seen them in a while. I really should go back and say hi to them. Anyway, so I basically learned to ride on a 2007, 2008, I think, Kawasaki ER6N, which had been lowered. It had been lowered and restricted because of my licensing needs, if that makes any sense. That's what I learned on. I did everything that was needed to be done. I did it on that bike. At the time, I was very focused on getting a KTM Duke 390. That was the bike I was forgetting. I had figured out how to pay the finance side of it. That guy was on his phone. That was before the RC 390s were actually released, and I came from doing one of the lessons with them. So for me, the RC 390 hadn't yet came out, and the Duke 390 seemed like the best option at the time. So it seemed like the best fit for me as a prospecting rider. Yeah, at the time, I was really wanting a naked bike I wanted that sort of street hoodlum type thing. I was very focused on the naked bike format. Plus, I sort of knew that naked bikes had a bit more of a comfy seating position. It was more relaxed riding style, so that's what I was for going with in my head. And I was in, after a riding lesson, I was in the dealership just looking around, and I spied Nisa sitting with a nice ticket price, nice mileage. She was in good shape, so I was just like, you know what, this is the ticket right here. This is the bike I should get. So when I went out, I asked the guys, the instructors that have been teaching me how to ride, and they're just like, yeah, maintenance isn't bad, it's affordable, it'll work well for you, especially as a first bike. So I was like, sweet. I was like, chill, I'll have that, thank you. So literally, like, the next day I was down in the dealership putting the deposit down. The reason why I got Nisa mainly was because I knew what the bike format was like. I knew it was easily restricted. Plus, I knew it could be lowered because I'm a shorter guy. I wanted to be sure that my first bike was easy for me to ride. How you doing? And I'll be honest with you, 100%, I did not buy Nisa for her looks. To me, she is not the prettiest bike in the world, I will be honest. She really is a stepping stone bike, and I've been very open about that ever since I first got her. Ever since the day I picked her up from the dealership, it was just like, yeah, this bike is going to give me a great, like, a springboard to learn the fundamentals of riding in a very safe way and give me enough power so it keeps it interesting. And plus, whenever I come off my restriction, I then have a fairly large displacement. Well, I say large, it's a 650 twin, but I still have that size of a motor for everyday riding after I get off my restriction, which I will get into some other day. So Nisa, for me, I felt was a very good foundation point to start to learn how to ride. On the note of power and all for a first bike, yeah, I'm restricted via with the power levels, so it limits your options down with what bikes you can buy. Like, I couldn't go straight out and buy a 600 sport bike, even if it had power modes or not. I still couldn't. This was the best option. At the time I thought this was the best option. Some of the flaws with this bike as a first bike is it's not ABS. This isn't an ABS model. Honestly, I really would suggest an ABS model for a new rider. Honestly, because in those first few months you're going to make so many mistakes, like those sort of panic mistakes, if that makes any sense. Like the day I picked her up, I locked the front and went down because I grabbed too much of a handful of front brake. If I didn't do that, if I had ABS, sorry, the bike wouldn't have went down, I don't think. For me, an ABS bike is is a must for a new rider. But that's just my opinion now. That's just what I feel. And like, keep in mind, I still view myself as a new rider. I don't think I know everything there is. No, I'm very well aware of that. I would put it as I'm an experienced beginner rider. That's the best way I'd put it for me. But even now, I feel that the likes of the Yamaha R3 and the Ninja 300, the KTM RC 300, and notice I'm talking about sport bikes, like the small sport bikes. I personally think that they are unbelievably great beginner bikes, and part of it's because you're not actually restricting the bike. Like, this bike's restricted, I only get half throttle, so I'm limited then to what I can do on the machine. Otherwise, those small displacement bikes, that 300 class bike, it's not restricted in any way. It's just, that's what it's designed to do. So in my personal opinion, the the 300 class is the fantastic way to start, especially for riders who have no experience. Would I, if I was in the position now, would I buy her? I don't know. I really don't know if I would actually buy her again. That's the thing. I honestly think, knowing what I know now, knowing that I prefer a sport bike configuration, like the wind buffeting and all of a naked bike, oh man, it ain't nice at all. Yeah, so would I buy Nisa again? Probably not. To be honest, I'd probably go for the likes of the small sport bike, because I really like sport bike configurated bikes now. The wind side of things is it's really tedious. It gets really tiresome really quick. So for that reason alone, I probably would go for a sport bike, like a small capacity sport bike. But one great thing about Nisa is I'm going to be able to have her for, like, the power side of her will last me longer, I feel. Because realistically, I could ride Nisa until she dies, you know, or until, you know, she decides I'm fed up with this and kicks me off. Having a bigger displacement bike gives you that opportunity for more prolonged, you know, riding, and also riding a bigger CC bike, I personally think opens more avenues. Like, you can travel more. Like, if I wanted to go, like, get the ferry over to England, ride through England, I could get in a Channel Tunnel through to France. You know, the option is there with a bigger CC bike. Otherwise, with smaller capacity bikes, I don't really know if I'd want to be sitting on a motorway doing 70 for 3-4 hours, if that makes any sense. Like, they'll do it great, but personally I don't know if I'd like to do it myself. But yeah, that's why I got Nisa. Nisa is my first bike, and honestly I think if you have rode before, I think the likes of, I'll try and think of, like the MT-07 or the SZ-07, depending on where you are in the world, because that's important. If you've rode before, I think if you're not limited to restrictions and all that sort of stuff, I honestly think the inline, well, like the twin, like the likes of the Ducati Monster, the MT-07, SZ-07, Honda's 500s, oh, like, there's so many bikes out there that's great for new riders, like new street riders. There's a lot of options in that higher capacity segment of the motorcycling world, you know. So there's plenty of options out there for you if you are new riders, but this is the option I went with. Is it the best option? No, it's not. But I think it's very personal, and it'll change for each one of you. But the only thing I can advise you to do is put your backside on seats, see what you like. If you can test ride them, test ride them. If not, get as much information. Ask people that has them, ask people that sell them, ask people that use them, and try and obtain as much information as possible. But yeah, so thanks for watching. Thanks, Ryno, I'm gonna say Ryno, okay? Ryno. Thanks, Ryno, for the topic. Pretty interesting topic, I think, for a lot of people. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed it and you want to see more, hit that like button, and why not subscribe? It's pretty cool to have you all with me, so why not do that? If there's anything else, if there's something I left out that you feel like should have mentioned or you want my opinion on, why not leave a comment, and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. So before it gets too much darker here, I'll love yous and leave yous. I'll give yous a wee stroke, because you know, why not? And I'll see y'all later. Have a good one. See yous.